Hi, I'm here to talk about my Eagle River 1200 watt two-stroke generator. If this looks familiar to you, I can tell you this is the same version that you get at Harbor Freight, labeled as Chicago Electric. Eagle River, I bought this model at Menards, which is a Wisconsin-based corporation. This was a slight upgrade over some of the Harbor Freight models, 1200 watts, slightly higher. Rated power 800, peak power 1200 watts. It's got 12 volt DC and 120 volt AC, two-stroke. This one worked for me about 10 to 15, 20 hours tops before it stopped functioning. The motor runs fine. The AC voltage is now measuring at about 14.4. DC voltage is measuring at about 1.4. Started pulling it apart and testing all the components, so here we go. First I pulled the fuel tank off, drained the fuel, got that out of the way. It's held on by 4 bolts that go here, 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 and here. So they're on there really tight. You'll need a wrench to get them off. I removed the switch panel here, unplugged the wires, cut all the rubber plastic zip ties that were holding all the wires together. We're going to look at some of the wiring here. First of all, we've got 2 pairs of wires coming out of the generator. The 2 gray wires go to the 12 volt circuit. The red and the blue wire go to the 120 volt circuit. I'll get to those later. This is the ignition coil. You can see it's going through the spark plug wire to the spark plug. We have the wire coming out of the motor. That would be from the magneto. So the motor has its own power source. It doesn't rely on the generator to run the spark system. The brown wire goes to the power switch. Black wire goes back to the coil, which is grounded. We have 12 microfarad capacitor. I tested this with my capacitor meter, and it tested at 11.5 microfarads. So I assume that's good, which would explain why the motor runs just fine. We're going to look down inside a little more. You can see the choke control hooks directly up to the top of the carburetor. This is the throttle control right here, which is going to be run automatically. Engine speeds run automatically by control inside the motor itself, similar to many lawnmowers. When you run them full throttle, they have that governor built in. So back to the generator. Like I say, we've got 2 pairs of wires coming out. Gray wire plugs to the gray wire, and the plugs are different, so you can't cross wire them. I cut the zip ties off the back of the control panel, and what we see here is a mess of wires, but really if you separate them, you'll see that the gray wires go to a full wave bridge rectifier, which are connected to what do you call this, circuit breaker, and then the outlet. The yellow wire is the ground wire, which attached to the top of the generator. The red and white wires were attached to the plug, which attached to the red and blue wires. And all we have here is an outlet, a circuit breaker, and a little indicator light to tell us that we're getting 120 volts going. I'm not sure how the Chinese translated INDIC from indicator light, but they did it. So like I say, this generator is running. The motor runs just fine, but we're only getting 14 volts, 14.4, which if you work on automotive electrical systems, you know that's the regulated voltage coming out for cars on a 12 volt system. What this is telling me is that the windings in the generator are shot. So at this point, I don't know if I want to tear it apart or just pitch it. I'm looking for help on the internet. Maybe somebody's got a suggestion. I'm sure it would cost more to replace the generator unit than it would be to buy a whole new generator. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, it's just going back in the shed. Thanks.